Hey guys, and welcome back to The Painted Teacher. I'm excited to show you today's art lesson. Today we're going to be making some positive and negative, warm and cool color leaf work, okay? So we're going to have our warm colors, our cool colors, our positive and negative space, a quick little project for fall, and it's actually going to make two projects in one. So let's get started. First, let me tell you the things that we're going to learn today. If you joined me last week, which I hope that you did, we looked at color. Okay, so let's read what color is. Color is made when light reflects off of an object back to the eye. And today, we're going to focus on our warm colors and our cool colors. So let's take a look at a color wheel. Last week I did a reference to our color wheel. We talked about contrasting colors, and that was colors opposite of each other on the color wheel. So we've got our colors, so maybe like a red might be opposite of green. Those are contrasting colors. Well, today we're going to talk about our warm and our cool colors. If we look at our color wheel here, we can see that the colors on this side are called warm colors, and the colors on this side are called our cool colors. The way I like to remember this is if you sit by a warm, cozy fire, the fires that we might draw or paint might be reds and oranges and yellows, those warm colors, right? And when we think about the cool, I think of snow and think of darker colors. And so we would put our warm or our cool colors on this side here. So all of our purples, blues, greens, those type of colors are our cool colors, okay? So today in our project that we're going to make, we're going to emphasize those warm and our cool colors, okay? So let's talk about the artist that we're going to look at today. The artist that we're going to look at is known for his positive and negative space, which is what we saw in my artwork. So we've got our warm and our cool colors, warm and cool, and we have some negative space and we have some positive space, okay? So let's talk about those terms and then we'll take a look at our artist. So positive space is as the areas of work of art that are subjects or areas of interest. And so in our leaf work, the leaf is our positive space, the interest, the point of interest that we want our people to look at or someone to notice first when they look at our artwork. We want them to notice that leaf. So that becomes our positive space. Now our negative space is the area around or between the subjects. So our background in our leaf work would be our negative space. So when we think about positive and negative, one of the very first art pieces that come into my head is our Rubens vase, and that is a very great depiction of positive and negative space. So let's see if you guys can point out our positive and negative space, okay? So when we look at Rubens' vase, the very first thing that our eye gets drawn to is our positive space, our vase here, right? Is the little, almost looks like a candlestick maybe. That is what our eye is drawn to. But if we take a look closely at our negative space here and here, if you look closely, you can see the depiction of two faces. So do we see the nose, the lips, the chin, the forehead? These become our focal points when we focus on those, right? So this is our positive space and this is our negative space, unless we focus on those faces, and then that becomes our positive and this becomes our negative space. So it's whatever our focal point is, okay? So positive and negative space is what we're going to talk about, and warm and cool colors. So let's talk about our artist today. We have a very cool artist from Malaysia. His name is Tang Yo Hung, and we're going to take a look at some of his artwork. So he's lots of depictions of positive and negative space. Let's take a look at this one down here. This is a machine that used to be used to play music. And so if you look closely, we've got the machine here and the horn that the music comes out of. But take a look at our negative space here, and we will see a bird, right? Pretty cool, huh? And then down here, we've got a little bubble that says hi. But if you look closely in our negative space, we see a little face with a mouth. Isn't that awesome? So he's a well-known artist for positive and negative space. So let's get started on our piece, okay? In today's video, you're going to need a piece of white paper, just one, 2 pieces of black construction paper. Those are going to be our backgrounds for today. You'll need 2. You're also going to need to go outside and collect some fun leaves. Okay, they can be all shapes and sizes. My boys helped me pick these out today. I have 3 boys. Even my littlest one picked me out a tiny little leaf so they can look any way that you want them, any size that you want them. Now's the perfect time here where I'm from, North Carolina, because they're starting to fall. So we've got those beautiful fall leaf colors. You're also going to need some glue, some scissors, and some paint, or you may use oil pastels, markers, crayons, anything that will give you color. Okay, let's get started. The first thing that you're going to do is take your plain white sheet of paper and we're going to fold it in half. We're going to take our left side to our right side or right side to our left side. Either way, we're going to fold it. I like to call this hamburger style. So the reason I call this hamburger style is it's fat like a hamburger bun. If we're going to do hot dog, it's long and skinny like a hot dog. So we're going to fold it hamburger style. We're going to create two sides. Here we have one side, here we have the other. And now we're going to do the fun part, which is coloring with our warm and our cool colors. Now today I'm using acrylic paints. You can use whatever you'd like. Again, if you're using acrylic paints, make sure you're using a nice, good, thick paper. I'm using just construction paper. And when you go to paint, use thin layers of paint, okay? So to get started, we're going to paint one half of our paper in our cool colors and the other half of our paper in our warm colors, okay? So to get started, just dip your paintbrush in any color that you want to get started. I'm going to start with my warm colors. So I'm going to choose colors like red, orange, and yellow for my side on my cool or my warm color side, okay? So you can just grab paint, slop it on there. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can blend your colors. You can mix your colors. We just want to get those warm colors on that side. See, we're just throwing them on there. No right or wrong way, okay? When you've done your warm side, you'll also want to go ahead and sneak over and do your cool side. Now remember, our cool colors are our blues, greens, purples. So I'm going to stick those colors onto my other side. So you're going to go right up to meet each other. See how we did that? And you're going to fill in the whole paper. Now, I've already got one done, so I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're all done. So I've got my cool colors on this side, my warm colors on this side, okay? Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to lay this to the side to get good and dry before we start tracing our leaves and cutting them out, okay? So lay them to the side. You'll need to get out your two black pieces of paper. These are going to be our backgrounds for our paper, okay? I'm going to push all of my paint to the side. Now, the fun part, we need to decide what leaf we would like to do. In my earlier picture, I used my biggest leaf. I think that was really cool. I like working with big leaves, so I chose to do this one here. If you can see, I just traced the leaf onto my paper, and that's what you're going to do. This time, I think I'm going to use a more fun leaf. I like this leaf here. He has lots of points. He's a fun one. He's got lots of little points. Now, it might be a little smaller, but that's okay. I'm going to trace around him. So now what we're going to do is pull out our dried painted paper. So you may have to do this in a couple of sessions, and that's okay. We're going to take our leaf, and we're going to put it onto our paper right where the two colors separate. So find the middle of your leaf. This would be a wonderful time to talk about symmetry here. Find the middle of your leaf. We're going to put him right smack in the middle of our paper. See how I line that top point up with my color? That's what you're going to do. You're going to lay him down. And you're going to trace around him with a big black crayon or a marker. I'm going to use a Sharpie so that I can see my lines very well. We're just going to trace around our leaf. Now, because my leaf is a little smaller and I want to use some of this space that I've painted, I might trace around him pretty big. So I'm going to get started and show you what I mean. So lay your leaf nice and still with one hand. With the other, go ahead and trace around him. I'm going to trace around one side and then stop and show you what I mean. So see how I didn't trace exactly where the leaf is? Because I want my leaf to appear bigger than it really is. So I just went above a little bit around it, okay? Above and around my leaf. So you can do that too if your leaf isn't quite big enough, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and trace the other side now. I love how when we look at our leaves the first time, we think it looks symmetrical, but then when you go to trace it, you realize that there are some things that aren't quite symmetrical. All right, so I've got my pattern of my leaf. It's a little hard to see over here, but I have him. So now when you've got him traced, we're going to cut this out, okay? And we're going to cut right along our lines that we've created there with our warm colors and our cool colors, okay? So go ahead, when you've got him traced, you're just going to cut him out. Let's switch scissors. I have a favorite pair of scissors. Do you have a favorite pair of scissors? We're just going to cut along that line that we've created and cut along your line that you traced for your flower. We're going to go ahead and cut both sides out. Now, as you're cutting, see if you can remember which is our positive space and which is our negative space. And if you guessed that the leaf is our positive space, then you are correct. So it'll look like this when you've cut him out. This would be like our negative space here. Save him. Don't throw him away. We're going to use him. And this is what will be our positive space. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other side. You don't typically see purple and green and blue leaves, do we? But they sure do look really fun on our papers. All right. Once you've got them all cut out, this is what you'll have. I have a two-toned leaf. So what you're going to do is we're going to cut that leaf right in half too, right along the line, just like we did with our two sides. You're going to cut completely apart. See how I separated those? So do the same thing with your leaf. So I'm going to go right up the middle here. And if there's a tad bit of a warm color or a cool color on your warm color, or vice versa, the cool color on your warm color, you can cut them off, okay? And just, like I have a thin little piece of orange here. I'm just going to snip him off. That's okay. He got a little bit into our cool color. He wanted to be a cool color. All right, so we've got 4 pieces. I have my warm side of my leaf, my cool side of my leaf, warm side of my negative space, cool side of my negative space. So now we're going to paste them down, but we're going to do some opposites here just to kind of create that contrast. Remember, opposite colors on our color wheel. We're going to create a contrast. We're going to take our cool negative space with our warm positive space, and we're going to glue them down together. Remember our backgrounds that we got ready? Now we're going to paste them onto our black backgrounds. So you're going to need that glue stick now. And if you were watching my video last week, I talked to you about how I like to put the glue on the piece that we're pasting down to make sure that we don't have so much extra glue. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to glue my big piece first so that I can carefully line up my smaller piece. Okay, so put glue all over the back of your large negative space. When you've got him all glued up, just like this, now we're going to paste them down. Now carefully match up your corners. So I'm going to carefully match up my corner here. Line him up. Carefully match up my corner here. Line him up and then give him a good press, okay? All right, just like that. So I've got my negative space pasted down, and already I can start to see my positive space of my leaf coming together, right? So let's go ahead and choose the opposite color, our warm color, for our other side. Go ahead and paste him down. And when we go to line it up, I want you to line it up the best that you can with the bottom of our leaf here and the top of our leaf here. And when you've got him lined up, give him a good press. All right. I love how this leaf turned out. I love the different looks and the different peaks of our leaf here. I love this one. So this is one piece. That's what I love about this project, is it's actually going to create 2 pieces. So now go ahead and do the other side with your warm relief or your negative space and your cool leaf to put on there. So go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to quickly do mine so that you can see both side by side. This would be wonderful little gifts for someone if you wanted to give one to one grandpa and one to the other grandpa, or one to mom, one to dad. 2 art projects in one. And you can tell them all about how you learned about your negative and your positive space and your warm and cool colors. All right, so there's my other one. Got my warm colors and my cool colors. So take a look at what we've created today. Let's recap what we've learned. We've learned about our warm colors, and that's our colors like red, oranges, and yellows. And we've learned about our cool colors. That's our purples, greens, and blues. We've also talked about positive space and negative space. If you take a look on this side, the leaf is our positive space, right? But if you take a look at this one, it can become our negative space. If we look at it as a whole, it's our positive and our negative. So what I love about this piece is it can go both ways, can't it? All right. Well, guys, that's all that I have for you today from the Painted Teacher. But join me next time, okay? And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Bye, guys.